What do you make of that report about Farage? That whenever I've mentioned it to other people, they've all gone, "Oh, no, it's not true." There was that report, and I think it was done by the BBC, that suggested as a school kid, and people change, of course. I'm not suggesting that's, but that he was extremely anti-Semitic, extremely, joined Nazi groups, things like that.
It wasn't actually the BBC; it was Channel 4, because Michael Crick, who used to be the political editor of Channel 4, is somebody I'm hugely admiring of because he's a bloody great journalist. Did fantastic books about Alex Ferguson and all sorts. I mean, he is forensic in his approach and a real character.
Right.
He had initially done a Channel 4 expose of just how racist is Nigel Farage really. And then he followed it up with a book where he went back to somebody who had alleged that Farage had taken part in some kind of Nazi chanting, sort of marching down the street. And basically, Crick went back through the whole lot, spoke to all of the people who went to school with him, Dulwich College lot, early conservative chums and all the rest of it, and couldn't corroborate that story. We actually interviewed him for the podcast because it all raised its head when David Lammy made those accusations about Farage recently.
Right.
And what Crick did discover is there was a degree of anti-Semitism in Farage's past, but he couldn't stand up that particular anecdote. And when I said to Crick, who has investigated the man more than anybody, although I think there's a couple of books being written about Farage and reform right now, so let's see. Not by me, by the way, but just by others. And I said to Crick, is Nigel Farage a racist? From your research, what is your conclusion? And his conclusion was no.
Well, that's good to know, because I don't know who else to vote for. I'm extremely concerned about immigration. I'm extremely concerned about Islam in this country. I keep mentioning this Pew research of Pakistan. 99% of people there have unfavourable views of Jews, and we're bringing a lot of our immigration from there and countries with similar levels of that. And a lot of people are asking, well, who do we vote for? And some people are saying, with regards to reform, that they've actually gone a bit soft. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, first of all, it's ridiculous to decide who to vote for now. Have a considered approach to voting once an election is called, once you've had a look at everybody's manifestos, once they've gone on the stump. You've got to know your local candidates, stroke MP, if you want to keep them in position. It's just completely ridiculous. And yes, I think the polling is instructive, but as we've witnessed through COVID and God knows what else in recent memory, Liz Truss's 49 days not outliving a lettuce, is that things can change on a dime, and politics, a week is still a very long time in politics, not least in a 24-hour news cycle where all sorts of stuff can happen in a day to derail things. I would say that. I mean, have they gone soft? I think he's wanted to differentiate himself from Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib, who want to take a harder line on immigration. The trouble with those two individuals is, of course, I did make a joke about Lowe that he's gone from Rupert to Hoopert. I mean, he had a place because he was a part of the reform. The reform could have been a broad church on the right? Okay, so like Rupert's a bit more hardline, Farage is a bit more moderate. Farage has taken great pride in the fact that he feels that his political elevation has killed actual fascism and neo-Nazism and racism in a political form stone dead. He's saying, where's Nick Griffin now? Which is a good argument to mount. He could also be being cautious because he fears for his own personal safety.
Yeah. I think many of us are a bit cautious with our words with regards to that. I try never to say anything about the religion of Islam for that reason.
We're perfectly entitled to say something about the religion of Islam.
Entitled, but fearful of my safety, my family's safety.
Well, I agree. Saying all sorts of things.